And the next thing I'm going to show, you would usually use at the end when you're done touching up all your photos, you know, you're happy with it, you're satisfied, is a clear acrylic sealer. Let's see if you can see that. And this is by Mod Podge, but this cost me like around $6, depending on where you go. Could be more, could be less. Use a coupon, I always suggest that. You usually spray a few coats lightly on, letting it dry in between, maybe about 15 minutes in between each coat. If you over coat your work, it's gonna run. You don't want that to happen, but you also want to protect your work. So I always use a clear acrylic sealer. It always helps. People who do arts and crafts, they'll already have this because they've used this to do their little scrapbooking, so it always comes in handy with different things also. Or you can just ask someone who does that and see how to coat things, but lightly over the top, back and forth, or up and down. I usually do both because then I didn't miss a spot. It's easier to cover it, so just keep that in mind and keep them covered, please. I don't want your artwork messed up because you forgot to cover it and somebody spilled something or somebody started to touch it. I get that a lot. People like to touch uncovered pieces if they're not covered with any type of plastic or portrait cover, but yeah, always make sure that they cannot touch it and smear it. That's the worst. That's why when you go to art museums, they say, please do not touch the artwork because there's oil in your hands, and when you touch different artworks and different paints, it will smear. So just be mindful of that and keep this always when you're done. Okay, now there's two more tools that I want to suggest, and I'm talking way too much, so I'm going to stop soon. But this is the tape that they use, the architect tape. I think it's drafting tape. There you go. I couldn't think of it. Drafting tape. You always want to use this when you're using your drawing board. Only because you don't want the picture to move while you're drawing. I suggest also covering this with a giant size piece of paper. If your artist board is like as big as mine is, you always want to cover it first just to protect it so it'll last longer. I got marker marks all over it. It really doesn't matter. It's just kind of like a go-to drawing board when you're not at your drawing station, or if you're just out and you have your portfolio with you and you want to draw something. But yeah, always cover that and use the drafting tape just because it's easy to take off. You know, the architects use it all the time. Easy to take off, easy to put on. You don't want to stick it directly onto different parts of your picture, but just make sure that you stick it on the ends and get it off. If for some reason that the ends of the drawing gets a little crumbled, you can always clear it up with your X-Acto knife. Your X-Acto knife is, as soon as I find it, geez, your X-Acto knife, you always want to use to clean something up or cut something out. Be very careful. Don't hold it like I am though. But be very careful with it, just because you will cut yourself if you're not careful with it. Cut away from yourself and always remember to turn the page away from yourself as you're cutting, just so you don't cut yourself. I have plenty of cuts and bruises from this thing, and it always helps. You can't find an X-Acto knife at the store. You can use a simple utility knife. Just always be careful and cut away from yourself and not towards yourself. Yeah, that always helps, and keep it moving. Okay, I'm going to be pretty basic and quick on the pencils. There are a lot of different types of pencils for different types of drawings that you want to do. There's different type of sketch pencils and sketch series. But if you just want the basics and you don't want to spend too much money on pencils, I suggest the Tikaronga pencil. I think I pronounced it wrong, but I'll show another picture of it. And usually pencils that float from like HB all the way to 6B and 2H all the way to 7H. The pencils that are the 2H to 7H, they're usually lighter pencils and used for outlines and basic base sketches for your sketch. That sounds a little crazy, but when you just want to like get like a body pose down, you just use that. If you want to go bolder for whatever reason, you can use the 6B. Always think of the B pencils as bold, you know, B for bold, and then the H is kind of like highlight. I know that's not what it stands for, but yeah, I usually think of it that way. So if I want something lighter on the page or just to test it out and see, and I want to put it directly on my picture for whatever reason, I can use the 2H or the 6H or 7H. One pencil that I will always recommend no matter what will be the Ticonderoga pencil. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But this is like the basics as far as drawing pencils go. It's kind of like a #2 pencil with like drawing bonuses to it because it's easier to erase, I think, versus a #2 pencil. But this is like the basic numbered pencil I would get. It's kind of like an HB pencil, and HB is pretty neutral. It's up there with #2. They used to tell me that #2s were like HBs, and I'm like, okay, well that works. But this one you can find in the store. It's a couple of dollars. It's not too bad. You can get them in different sizes and different thicknesses. Like this one is a little thicker than usual. So what I do is use my utility or X-Acto knife to sharpen it. But just be careful of that and keep drawing and keep it going. Okay, I wasn't trying to make this video very long, but those are just like the basic materials that you can use. At the end of the video, I'll make sure to put up a little notepad session on the different tools that you can use. The places I suggest to go to get these art supplies would be Michael's Arts and Crafts and the Plaza if they have one near you, or whatever art store you want to go to. But just make sure you get the prices first and then buy it, because then you don't want to see the same thing somewhere else and it's cheaper, and then you have to go back and take that bag. But no one wants to waste time. You know, time is of the essence, and sometimes it takes a while to draw, and you don't want to spend all your time trying to find the materials first, and yeah, that sucks. But this is the first intro video. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the second one. It's probably gonna be on basic sketches. I'm trying to get out the boring stages first so you guys can actually see some artwork. Showed you that Supergirl thing that I'm trying to do, and you know, just keep playing with art. Art is art. There are really no rules to art, but some rules you will have to follow in order to get your non-rule picture. That sounds crazy, but it will work, and I will try to help as much as possible. Thanks. See you again.